Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the earthquake, the coming earthquake that's going to occur in Japan or sometime within the Ring of Fire in the Pacific. We're going to talk about that in today's video. It's going to be a very brief video, but I figured, okay, let's just go ahead, let's talk about it. There was a silverfish, I don't know if you guys remember a while ago, sometime around January, that was washed up ashore on Japan. That normally indicates that means something big is coming, something is happening within the seismic system and in ground volcanoes in the sea, under the sea. Like there's a lot of seismic activity on the ground. And so in this video in particular, we're going to talk about and discuss what do I get? What do I get intuitively? I'm going to try for the first time ever, try to go into the ground, into the level of Earth underwater, and see if maybe there is an earthquake that is going to occur around that point. Now, to keep in mind as well, there's a very strong possibility because I'm seeing like a missile, and I'm seeing like a missile hitting the water, and it's going straight down, and then it explodes, and it creates seismic activity because instead when it goes into the water, I'm seeing this as I'm talking about it, I'm seeing like a missile fly into the water, go straight down, and as it hits the ground, which it doesn't hit completely all the way, it just kind of stops shortly of hitting the ground, it explodes, and I see this powerful force spread out like that, pretty quickly, very fast, very far, kind of like destroying everything within its path. But it doesn't come in as like a form of destruction, but rather comes into a form of air. Very strong water circulation, pushing out that circulation in many different directions. And so, what we're going to talk about in today's video, is this a missile? Is this an earthquake? What's going on with nature, and particularly the Ring of Fire? This could also indicate that there is some sort of conflict that's going to happen in the East Asian region. So we'll talk about that in today's video. So anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for clicking. So this video is being recorded on Wednesday, June 25th at 12:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as when I'm recording the specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hit the bell icon, engaging with the content. Sharing the video with others really helps boost out the channel, the algorithm. And yeah, that's for anything purpose only, like I said. And if you want to go be notified when you post and upload, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, which is in the description and the comment section below. Obviously, there is a donation link, but do not feel in any way obligated to donate. I just want you to sit down here and just relax and just watch the show. Do not in any way feel obligated to donate. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's begin. We have a lot to get through in today's video, and let's just go right ahead. All right, so let's take a look. Let's find out. This is going to be like a blind read. I don't really know much about what's going on in Japan. The last time I got a vision from Japan was in 2010. When I was 10 years old, I saw a massive earthquake, and I said Japan was going to have an earthquake, particularly a big one. And lo and behold, 2011 came, and the earthquake happened. When I was, I don't really remember when Hurricane Sandy came. I think Hurricane Sandy came in 2012, so I must have been 11. I was 11 years old. I really liked how Hurricane Irene brought a lot of people together during the time of upheaval, time of natural disaster. So I wished for a hurricane. Yes, you heard that. I wished for a hurricane. Again, I was young. I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I had some abilities or whatnot. But anyway, I wished for a hurricane, and particularly a superstorm hurricane. Later that year, because I did this in September of 2012, a month later, the day before my birthday, I kid you not, the 29th, the hurricane arrived, Hurricane Sandy arrived, and it came right on time. And it was a superstorm hurricane. Then it got mixed in with a superstorm blizzard that happened right after we were out of school for weeks. But the moral of the story is that I'm very good, I'm very connected to nature in a way in which probably not a lot of people that you know are. So in today's video, we're going to try to connect into nature again and find out what is happening in the Pacific. Let's go from there. All right, let's do this. All right, so spirits and angels tell me about Japan. Japan and the Ring of Fire in the Pacific. Can you give me a deep end view into what is happening in Japan right at this moment? What is happening in Japan? And is there any sort of seismic activity? Just show me the layout of the Ring of Fire. Show me the layout of Ring of Fire. There's going to be an earthquake. I'm seeing like oil rigs. I'm seeing oil rigs like out in the ocean. For reference, I don't know how far oil rigs are from the shore, but I'm seeing oil rigs and surrounded by deep ocean. What's the first card that comes in? We have the Star card. We have here people are giving too much into water, but not paying attention to what's happening on land. So they're telling me here that if this earthquake was to happen, people are paying attention to what's in the water, not paying attention to what's happening on the land. So the land in some ways is going to cause an issue with the weather patterns on planet Earth, specifically within the Ring of Fire. This also affects California, if you know where the Ring of Fire is. It also affects Australia, Indonesia, the Philippines, China, Korea. It affects everything within the vicinity. Anything that has a border with the Pacific Ocean is part of the Ring of Fire. We have here as well, we have the Six of Pentacles reversed. It's telling me that there is a balance here. But it's a balanced game. You got to be able to have harmony here. That the Ring of Fire needs harmony, and so when something's imbalance, it shakes. It's like the best way I could describe it is just say you have a rash on your back of your body or your back, right? And you scratch it. To you, you're scratching it because you're getting rid of that itch. So in a way, the way Earth sees this rather is that when it shakes, it sees it as getting rid of the itch. So when there is some sort of imbalance on planet Earth, it gets rid of it by using something to flake that thing off. Same concept here. We also have here as well, we have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. And the Ten of Pentacles reversed, this is not generation. So whatever happened in the previous generations is not going to happen again. This is something new. So if there was something that was going to come out of the Pacific region, this would be something that's not ever witnessed by any generation prior. It's been only spoke about in folklore, but not something that has physically been seen by the minds and the eyes of a modern man. So basically what it essentially is saying is that it's only been spoken in folklore, but never been physically seen by the modern man. It had never been physically recorded, just considered mythical or folklore by a lot of men and women. When I say man, I mean man as in like the collective conscious, the humanity conscious of it. And it essentially says that it's just a folklore. People don't really understand the consequences of it. But remember, the folklore could be historical reference. It could be vision, it could be prophecy, it could be things that people have seen from the past that is now coming to fruition, right? Now, going back into the reading, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Six of Cups. This is the past. This is the previous generation. This is the previous generation. This was the gift, right? And this was a warning. So these 4 cups here are telling you that these are prophecies and folklore that has come to pass in regarding to Earth and the environment and stuff like that. So I don't know much about Japanese culture or Asian culture, particularly in relation to the Ring of Fire. Now, this could be many different nations as well. This could be many nations with many different folklore, different perspective, but they have all come true. This is the next one. The next one is the 5th cup, which means this is the gift. This is another gift. It's another gift of the prophecy. There's something else that's coming that's going to come fruition. Something that's going to come true. Something that was not seen as true will now become no longer folklore and will now become fiction. I mean non-fiction. But the next one, there's one more after that. We don't know when that's going to occur, but this one is on its horizon. And here you have it, the next card that comes in is we have the Knight of Swords reverse. The Knight of Cups reverse. And the Knight of Cups reverse, it means it's like something is moving slowly, but the cup has been emptied out. So whatever the cup is, it has been emptied, and it's time for a new one. It's time for a new one. This is why the cup is empty. There's nothing in it, but this cup is full. And this horse is heading backwards. The horse symbolizes normally during death. It means going back or rebirth, right? Normally it's scarier to have a white horse in the midst of a dark trail than it is to have a black horse, because a white horse symbolizes something more sinister, right? But the white horse is heading backwards. It's heading for that next prophecy, for its next mission, if you will. And then here you have it. Once it receives that, it was now entered into the Ace of Pentacles. The gift will be given. So don't see this as something that's necessarily bad. It's just telling you that humanity needs to be more connected to nature Earth, because the reason why nature has been neglected and why all this is happening is, again, the whole idea is that modern man has been too ungrateful for what has happened, too ungrateful to accept the narrative and the notions of what their ancestors have told them and taught them, that they are doomed to repeat it because they did not believe it, because they did not see with their own eyes, and because they did not see with their own eyes, well, then they're going to have to be the one to witness it. So again, if you're asking, why is this happening to anybody? Why is this happening to any of us? It's not considered a punishment. It's rather the fact that man, in general context, does not understand and cannot conceptuate that things that were created in the books and we're talking about the folklore was not just fake stuff. Like, this was stuff that happened based on personal experiences, and people wrote about it, they spoke about it, they spread the news about it, and for generations they honored that. They didn't question it, they just kept it. And now we're getting to the point where humanity is struggling to accept what was tradition, to accept the prophecy of the past, to accept what their ancestors has told them. And now we're getting to the point where that is starting to come back. And now also AI, I'm also getting told AI is also going to speed up this process exponentially, because it's going to be very hard to discern what is true and what is not true. And that is also going to be a very big issue. And that is why people are going to start to look towards folklore and stuff like that, prophecy that has since then came to pass, because they can no longer see and trust what they hear, so they're going to trust and look from within about the prophecies that they have been told to be able to foretell what is coming next. And so that is where we're heading in terms of the environment, in terms of this next big natural disaster that's going to be coming in the Ring of Fire. Now, I'm going to take a look at my next tarot deck and look at the Earth Magic Oracle cards. And then we're going to go from there. It's not going to be too long. Like I said, the video is not going to be long at all. So it's going to be rather short and sweet. But Spirit Angels, tell me about this. Tell me more about this energy, this seismic activity, or this movement for a big disaster to occur in the Ring of Fire that leads to what we just talked about, the prophecy that's coming to pass. What is this prophecy? There was a silver fish that was found. Now, the silver fish is very interesting, because the silver fish is in the deep sea. And the fact that something has been gurgitated from the bottom of the sea, been shown up to the top layer of the ocean, and then been washed ashore, that's a problem. Because that means that there is activity underneath the ground. There's activity already in the ocean that push up a deep sea creature all the way to the top of the surface and then been washed ashore. That's why they say that these are big problems. That is how prophecies and people are able to predict natural disasters way ahead in advance, because deep sea creatures that you cannot see with your naked eye from the last 12,000 feet down in the water, when there's high movement and high activity and it's something that's washed ashore that's abnormal, that's how you know there's activity underground. If that didn't click yet. Now, Spirit Angels tell me, here, look, activity being washed ashore, right? So Spirit Angels, tell me about the natural disaster that's happening in the seismic activity, massive activity that's happening in the Ring of Fire. You literally cannot you cannot make this up. Like, literally, look at this. There's literally fire right here. The passion. You can't make this up. Okay. Now, going into this equilibrium, right, inbound, not paying attention to what's happening on land and paying too close attention to the water. The first card is Gaia. Ooh, interesting. I love this. Like I said, you can't make this up. You have Gaia, nurturing. Right? It's saying here that you have to pay attention to what's going on land. And why? Because we already just went into the spring equinox. This means the thing had just begun. I talked about rebirth in this video so far. There's this spring equinox, which tells me that we have just entered into this period. Remember I told you about that scratch that's on the back? And that they just need to realign itself when something feels itchy? Like, kind of like what it's telling me here is that Earth sees it as a way to remove something that is making them itch. making them feel at unease, if you will. It could be the way that we treat the environment even. So as you start to move closer to the Knight of Cups, right, the cup is full, empty, right? The cup is empty and it's going back to the prophecy, right? The Knight of Cups. Right, going back. Well, what is this? We're talking about the Ring of Fire. This is the passion. This is the energy. This is the movement, right? This is the movement, the passion, that fire, that burning fire. Then we have here the land, which is the breath, the forest, right? They breathe in that green energy, which means this is the land. This is talking about wildfires, too. It's telling me high desiccation. I'm seeing like a lot of desert. I'm seeing like a lot of dry, high heat in these areas. But particularly around the Ring of Fire, I'm seeing a lot of dryness. Wherever there's dryness, there is a reason for a guy to have ishiness. Because remember I said the word flaking? You remember the key word I said earlier in the video? It was like some sort of flaking. Well, it feels like very much so like there's drought, right? And so I'm using this as an example, but there's drought here. And then Mother Nature comes in and says, well, this feels very ishy. Let me scratch it and then apply a lotion to it to moisturize it, right? To keep it moist. What it's saying here is there's going to be high potential for deforestation, high potential for fires or wildfires, or even better yet, droughts. And because of that, there's going to be a rise in sea level that's going to take place. And the rising sea level is going to replenish the earth again. It's going to be a rebirth, if you will. And here you have is the breach, the whale. It had not yet breached. The land had not yet been breached, but it is coming, which is why it comes in at the Ace of Pentacles. I mean, this is the gift. This is not necessarily a punishment to man, like we've been saying, but it's a reward to the nature itself. You cannot stop natural disasters from occurring, but instead, when you look at it from a deeper perspective, you start to understand it at a methodical level, and you start to look at it. Like, for example, the best way I can describe it is we are like bacteria on planet Earth. You can't see us, but we are there. We are moving. We itch. We are, in some way, a part of the ecosystem, whether we want to admit that or not. But Mother Nature, we are on her face. And Mother Nature is the planet Earth itself. And Mother Nature, the scratches, to her, it just feels like her getting rid of something that was just itching her, relief, if you will. But to us, that is removing us. But that doesn't mean that she's doing it with the intention to hurt you. She's doing it with the intention to relieve her. So again, when you start to look at it from a different perspective, you start to understand nature at its finest. And here you have at the bottom, that key was this metal, vulnerability. You're not vulnerable, you're just, nature just needs to do what you gotta do, right? And what's underneath here? We have stone people, vigilance, right? The stone people. Go back to what the tradition was. That is really where everything really comes into play. That's where things start to focus. Go back to the tradition. And the wind will be the activation. So the wind will be activating this. So when you start to see strong wind around the Ring of Fire, wherever this location is, it could be in Japan, but that doesn't mean it has to be in Japan. Wherever this wind is, that's going to play a very key role into knowing what's happening next. And what happened next? We have here fairies, earth fairies, which tells me earth needs to be realigned. So just pay attention to where this heavy wind is, where this dryness, this drought is, because that's going to be a very key indicator to where this is going to take place. Alright guys, I think this is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Until then, I peace out and I love you, and I'll see you again until next time. Thank you. Love you.